Hi, Instagram fam. As always, thanks for joining me today. Almost forgot what I was going to say. I'm also getting Facebook Live on here with us as well, but thank you for joining us for today's live. We talked earlier in the month about learning how to delegate. So if you don't know how to delegate or you don't feel like you're good at delegating, go back 2 episodes, I think, or 2 lives and see about the delegation exercise that we discussed a couple weeks ago. Because today we're going to jump a little bit more into that subject. Once you've figured out what you can delegate, we want to talk about how you can add a new team member with ease. So now you've identified that you need help. Now you've identified what things you can give to a new team member. And then once you go through that hiring process, you want it to be a smooth process. You don't want it to be so rocky for this new hire because that makes you stressed, that makes them stressed, and that only starts off a relationship in a very tense way. So if you have narrowed all of that first part down, you figure out what you actually are able to give to somebody and you found the person that you think is right, now what? Now that you've hired this person. Well, in that live a couple weeks ago, we talked about the importance of having SOPs. So really, before you actually bring on that person or start bringing on team members, I highly recommend that you identify what you want your team member onboarding process to look like and document it. So that now and from now on, except for when you improve on it, you have this beautiful process of what it looks like to join your team from a team member's perspective. So document how you want this to go. Do you want team members to get a welcome gift? Do you want them to go through certain training videos? Do you want them to be in certain meetings with you and the team at first to just kind of see how the flow goes? Do you want to add them to certain softwares right off the bat? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to have access to? So you have to be thinking about those kinds of things. So definitely start with what you want your team member onboarding to look like. From there, be thinking about what tasks that you identified in the delegation exercise that you first want them to take on. Do you already have those documented? If not, there's a couple of ideas that can help you to start documenting without it feeling so stressful. So the first thing is a lot of times you have kickoff calls or some beginning training calls with these team members. And I highly recommend doing a screen share and recording these calls, even if you break them up into separate recordings. So it's not like this long 2-hour kind of deal. Then you can have it broken down to where those can sooner rather than later be turned into actual documented SOPs. But the person also has an opportunity to be on the call with you, see your screen share, ask questions, and then be able to go back and say, yes, I remember how they did this because I was right there. I was part of the process, right? Now, that may not always be possible. Maybe your assistant is someone on the other side of the world, or they just work different hours than you, or you're just not available always at the same time, or to do that kind of screen share, right? So you can still record the process that you're doing while you're already doing it. So I did not say that means that you're going to be wasting time having to go and record processes. Do it while you're already doing it. So if you're delivering client service, B for whatever client, record the process of what you're doing, label it, and stick it in a folder dedicated for training and SOPs. Then when it comes time to you want to show them how they can do that, you've already got it. It may not be perfect, but you are getting a start and getting it organized. So those are some beautiful, simple ways to at least get started on documenting these processes and getting started on the process of SOP creation. And so be thinking about that for everything, for small things within your business, for them helping to actually onboard new team members, and for the processes for client delivery and client onboarding and client offboarding, gathering testimonials and repurposing content, all of the things that you're doing in your business. Most of it can be delegated, if we're being honest, with the proper training. So yeah, I mean, if those new team members come on and they need a lot of training, that's fine, but record the calls and use them for future. Because the likelihood is that the more that you bring on new team members or kind of shift responsibilities, if you really nail down that documentation and you take the time now to do some of that training and recording, etc., it's going to be so much faster and so much easier for those new hires that you bring on in the future. Once you have actually started building out those SOPs, you want them bound in the same place. You don't want one version over here that was written by so-and-so and it follows its own, march to the beat of its own drum, and then one version over here. You want to have everything in one central location. We house our SOPs in Google Drive, and then we actually link them to ClickUp. So they're also saved there in ClickUp. And then we use relationships to actually tie them into the task that they apply to. So a lot of people will actually build out their SOPs within ClickUp because it is a docs option that you can do that. We don't particularly do it that way. It is one way that you can do it. But whichever way that you do it, once you start documenting, make sure that everyone's following the same process, that there is a template for clear documentation for how you want to document things, and then that you're keeping track of those documents, those SOPs in an SOP manual. And just use a simple spreadsheet and organize it by, what department handles this and who wrote this and when was it updated, when does it need to be updated, all those kinds of things. I'm happy to answer questions about what that would look like if you have them. Maybe if you need some kind of sample of what that would look like, I'm happy to answer that as well. So don't be afraid to do the training, because the thing is if you spend the time and the effort now, maybe it costs you some time right now, you are not going to have to keep repeating this. That's the key here. We don't want to keep repeating this 100 times down the road because we didn't take the time to document. All right, so yeah, we use just a combo of written, which is our primary, and Loom videos for, explanations, but don't rely so heavily on the videos because those are harder to update and they take more time. All right, so if you have any questions about what that would look like, please send me a DM or a comment below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible about your questions. Again, we talk so much about how ClickUp and SOP manual building can actually help so much with team hiring and making sure that you have success in your team. So if you're like, yes, all of this sounds great, but I don't have the time to dedicate to getting a project management tool set up or building out an SOP manual, that is where we come in. That is our specialty. We have a VIP day for each of those. We have an SOP manual in a day, VIP day. DM me for details about what that actually looks like. And we have ClickUp set up in a day. And if you do an SOP manual in a day, we actually link those SOPs to your ClickUp so that, just as I was describing earlier, it becomes functional and you can actually keep those SOPs updated and continue to build on them, right? So I love to talk about those things, ClickUp and SOPs, SOP manuals. If you have any questions, again, DM me. Have a fabulous weekend. Thank you again for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Bye.